going on YouTube? Hope you guys having a great day. In today's video, I'm just gonna fix what I broke from my last video, which is last week. So I'm gonna fix my wheel stud. As you can see, I'm missing a wheel stud on my wheel. So yesterday I went to Repco and pick up a wheel stud. So the wheel thread is pretty much like 12 times 1.5, and Dunsao website in Repco, they have like a reference that you can see if the part will fit your car. So basically they said that this one will fit the specific year and model of my CIVIC hatchback. So I'm just gonna put this one in, and yeah, this will be just a real quick simple video, quite tutorial on how to install wheel stud if it happens that you break one of yours. And I hope you guys follow me on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me, please do so. It's Wreck-It Ralph, because I break things. And yeah, please like and subscribe as well into my channel, and I'll be uploading in future contents in this channel as well. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for it and enjoy this video. So kind of like laid out everything that I'll be needing for this simple repair installation. So basically what you need is these are 12 and 14 spanner. Use some C spanner to release the tension, and I just used socket ratchet socket to pretty much take out the bolt or the nut. So that's one thing. You'll be needing a Phillips screwdriver, because the one that locks the rotors has a couple Phillips screws on it. You'll possibly be needing a flathead screwdriver. In some cases, that if your rear disc has some lid covering the 32mm bolt, you have to pry it off using a flathead screwdriver. And then if we have to take out the wheel hub, we'll be needing a 32mm socket. And what else do I need? Possibly a washer, just in case if I'm not able to put the wheel stud like sitting properly onto the wheel hub. Soft hammer or soft mallet, and these one just to basically hang your calipers into the spring of your struts, so that you won't have to undo your brake lines. In that way you'll be saving time not to re-bleed your brakes. And just some basic stuff. Your jack. What else do I need? Just a couple brakes, or if you have a wheel stopper, because once we jack this car, we'll be releasing the e-brakes in order for us to release the tension on the rear disc brakes. And possibly a WD-40 if we're gonna use the washers. So yeah, quite easy installation. And yeah, and I'll start doing it now. Sorry guys if I have to do a voice audio recording for this tutorial or for this video, because I just realized that my microphone, my GoPro, is crap. So anyways, I'm in the process of taking out the rear caliper. So what I'm about to do is I'm gonna get a 14mm wrench or socket wrench to release the tension on both of the top and bottom bolts. So that's what I'm doing right now. So right now I just released the tension on the top bolt of the caliper. So I think on the bottom bolt I'm struggling to release the tension, while videoing it the same or while recording at the same time. So I'm just gonna drop off the camera, and then I'm just gonna use both of my hands to release the tension. And there you go. So right now I'm just gonna use the ratchet socket basically to take the bolts easier, but I still ended up using my fingers or my hands to take out the bolt because for some odd reason my ratchet socket doesn't work properly. So just taking out the top bolt for the caliper. That's one bolt out. And then I'm just gonna take out the bottom bolt. And then after you take out the bolts, it is important to turn off your e-brakes or your handbrake. You guys just put it down, because if you're gonna take off the calipers and if your e-brakes or your handbrakes are on, there's no way you can take off the calipers because the e-brake cables are like in full tension. So right now I'm just using a hanger, basically mounting it on top of the springs in order for me to hang the calipers onto the bottom hanger pot. So right now I'm just gonna turn off the e-brakes. And then I'm gonna take out the caliper. So after taking out the caliper, just hang it onto the hole of the caliper where the bolts are sitting, but I think I'll be struggling to do it while recording, so I'm just gonna drop the camera for a little bit while doing it. So and that's it. See? Sang completely. Take off the brake pads before taking off the caliper brackets. I think that's what I'm about to do next. Not sure. Oh, I didn't bother. Anyways, so that's me showing the bolts in the caliper bracket. So you'll be needing a 12mm, I think. I think I got a smaller one. Let's see. So just the same process, release the tension. I think these are tighter, so I have to drop the camera again and use both of my hands to release the tension. Oh yeah, that's me taking out the brake pads. So I'm gonna struggle in this one because I don't really have enough room. And I'm still struggling. And that's it. I released the tension on the top bolt of the caliper bracket. Now I'm about to do the same on the bottom bolt of the caliper bracket, but this is quite harder because the caliper is just blocking pretty much my way of taking out the tension. And not quite there yet. I think I'm gonna use a hammer, so in that way I can take off the tension. So let's see if I manage to do that. I think I'll need a little bit more than that. So my apologies. It was 14mm bracket. I mean 14mm bolts for the caliper bracket. So that's what I'm using right now, and it should be 12mm for the caliper itself. So I'm just trying to undo the top bolt for the caliper bracket. So I'm just trying to show you the bolt for the caliper bracket has an O-ring or like a washer sitting on near the top hat. So that's the difference between the bolts for the calipers and the caliper bracket, aside from the size itself. So that's one thing that you need to take note. Nearly there. It's quite a mission to take this out. Take me a while. That's the second bolt out. Then now I'm taking out the caliper bracket. So the next step is to get your Phillips screwdriver and basically take the two screws out sitting on top of your rotors. I'm just gonna get my impact wrench and attach my Phillips screwdriver, take the rotors out. And then, so what happened after these is just the rotors just came out instantly after I take the two screws out. So that doesn't normally happen in every situation. So in some situations, you'll be needing a 12mm screws to screw on one of the extra holes on your rotors. In that way, so you'll be using the screws to pretty much push the rotors out of the hub. And another way is to use a soft mallet and just whack every four angles of the rotors, so that it won't be like sitting like tightly onto the rotors when you're taking it out. So that's me just explaining it, that you need to put a 12mm bolt into that extra hole, but yeah, I won't be needing it in this situation. Then so I got the wheel stud right now. So what I'm trying to explain in this situation is, at some point you'll be needing to take out your wheel hub. So there's like a top lid sitting on top of the rotors. So what happens is you need a flathead screwdriver and whack it in on all different angles and pry it after. It took me a while to take off the lid, so it was quite a mission for me, but there's a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to change your rear disc brake, so it shows on how to take off the top lid. So anyways, so right now I'm just checking if my wheel stud will fit into the hub without taking the hub itself. So it looks like it fits naturally, so I won't be needing to take or use the 32mm socket to take out the wheel hub. So what I will do next is I'm gonna use a washer technique. So on this part, I'm just trying to explain that I'm just gonna use like a stacked up washer in order for me to plant the wheel stud into my wheel hub. So what's gonna happen is, if I'm gonna start stacking up some washers or heaps of washers on top of the wheel hub, and then I'm just gonna use like a wheel nut to screw it on top of the wheel hub. And then when I'm doing that, basically you're creating a pressure or a tension to create a pulling tension from your wheel stud towards your wheel nut. So guys, ang ginagawa ko lang is you just have to lube your washers with some WD-40 or any lubricant in every washers, and then just stack it up together. Then just use any like breaker bar or in my situation, I'm just gonna use like an impact gun to to screw my wheel nut into my wheel stud. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just securing the wheel nut right now. And the reason why we're using washer as well, and why we'll lube it, it's because if you don't lube it, basically may ipit lang yung washers, and the purpose of lubing it is para mag spin lang yung washers when we're turning the wheel nut onto the wheel stud. So hindi masisira yung threads ng newly installed wheel stud natin. I'm just gonna use my impact wrench and then just hold on to your wheel hub while you're tightening it, because remember, you don't have an e-brake holding your wheel hub, so if you don't hold your wheel hub while tightening your wheel nut, iikot lang yung wheel hub. So this is me just explaining that pinapakita na yung washer is just spinning around. So if it stops spinning, it means that, or if the washer stopped spinning, it means that you don't have enough lubricant to create like a loose motion in your washers. But I think in Amazon AU or in eBay you can buy a wheel stud installer that costs around 50 Australian dollars. But this one only costed me like $2, so yeah, it won't hurt to use the washers. Just me just inspecting if the wheel stud is planted properly into my wheel hub. I think it's planted, so I'm about to show it to you guys. So, yep, it's planted properly. So it was a success. Only costed me like probably $15 just to do this installation. So you don't really like need a mechanic or pupunta ka sa talyam just to have your wheel stud fixed. You can do this on your own. You don't need a specialty tool for this one. And just me just checking if I got the right thread and fitting my nuts if they fit really good. And yeah, as you can see, it works. So that's pretty much it. So for the next few moments, I'm just gonna like install everything where it's supposed to be. So I'm just gonna like create a time lapse of me doing that. So you just have to retrace the steps backwards if you're putting it back. So before putting everything back to its place, just use a rag to wipe off the excess lubricant into your rotor. In that way, when you're using your car while you're driving it, the wheel stub won't come out naturally from your wheel hub, because there will be a chance that it might get out of its place if it's quite loose or if it's quite lubed into your wheel hub. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So pretty much place all the nuts in. I turned on the e-brake, so I'm just gonna slightly torque these with impact gun, and then I'm just gonna put them on. I'm gonna torque them into 80 foot-pound for each nut, because that's the recommended Honda torque for the torque settings. So that's what I'm gonna do. Then trying to make sure everything is clear or release the jacks. Okay. I'm gonna use this. Put it on 80 foot-pound. You can see that's 81. I'm not sure if you guys seeing that. There's, yeah, 81. So we just put underneath, slightly underneath 81. So the number 0 should be facing on the middle part. And you can see the line in the middle. There we go. Let's see. Should be fine. 81. Wouldn't hurt. As you can see, focus. Oh, focus. I don't know if you could see that. Anyways, 0 towards 81. Yeah. So that's the torque settings I'm gonna use, and I'm just gonna torque my wheels. So the correct way on torquing the wheels is you pretty much go across for forward stud. And if you got 5 stud, you do the star method. So I got 4 studs, so I'm just gonna use the cross method. Just go here first. Interesting. There you go. That's the click that I'm aiming for. Sure. That's 80 foot-pound. That's 80 foot-pound. That's 80 foot-pound. Oh, sometimes it does that. Oh, crap. So what if that happens? You just have to release the spring all the way to the end. There you go. Released it. So don't have this expensive. I don't have the expensive torque wrench. This one's quite dodgy. Anyway, it still works. It has a calibration certificate. What the hell? Just want to make sure I got this one right. So I don't want to break it. I just replaced it. make sure after you use it, you release the tension. Turn it back into where it started, 0. So that's how you take care of your torque wrench. Done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's not really like a major DIY or sort of like car thing to do, but yeah, it's one of those knowledge that you needed to know when you're looking after your own car. So it only took me like probably 15 minutes to do everything. Probably it'll take me quicker if I didn't film. But yeah, that's how simple it is to replace your wheel stud. Oh yeah, by the way, the reason why it took me a while, it's because I placed my brake dust shield onto my in my rear rotors. At the same time, I placed the lead back on. So yeah. That's about it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and comment down below. I'm like a noob onto this car game or like tuner scene, so if you guys have any constructive criticism or if you have any comments, just feel free to do so. Just don't blame me because I'm not really an expert. I'm just pretty much doing like a documentary of my journey on how to build my car. And yeah, your comments will be appreciated, so I could learn from the other people or from my viewers as well. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's Wreck-It Ralph. I'm just gonna put the link or the ID at the bottom of the screen. And like and subscribe, guys. Definitely helps the channel to grow, and hopefully in the next video I can start to get ball rolling on my B18C Type R swap and this thing. Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned for next week and hope you guys enjoy your day. Have a good one.